Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, in the last video we put a cylinder head together, and the next video would have been me putting it on the car, getting the turbo and stuff mounted up. So I recorded that, but unfortunately it got deleted. So, with that being said, we're going to tear into the EM1 today. I got a part on the way that it definitely needed. I do a valve adjustment. I got to run and pick up some nuts and bolts so I can finish doing the turbo stuff. And I guess I'm going to start out just showing you guys where I'm at. It sucks that the last video got deleted, but sometimes that happens. So yeah, as you can tell, the downpipe's on, wastegate's on, manifold's basically on. It's only got like 2 nuts holding it right now. I gotta go pick up some. I'm gonna try to get the intake on today. We're gonna try to knock out everything other than like the stuff that I have a few bolts and a few sensors on the way for. Because then after we get that stuff, I can throw oil in it, double check everything, and basically be ready for a startup. That ugly yellow valve cover is definitely not staying on there. Got a new one on the way. It'll be here shortly. Before I get started with the valve adjustment, we got a package, guys, from iRun OEM. Another cool little thing is you get these OEM style stickers. If you've ever ordered any OEM Honda parts, you'll know the package always has the red and white label. So very cool. So box, the bubble wrap, it's another box. Gonna very carefully not cut this open very good. Lit, guys. So like I said, this was definitely supposed to be an OEM plus kind of build, so I couldn't go with the ugly yellow valve cover that you guys seen sitting on there. So here we are, our brand new USDM spec P73 Type R valve cover. I went with the US spec. It was mainly easily available, and 2, it's just different. So the dual overhead cam is much bigger than the VTEC, where the B16 one has a really huge VTEC. Instead of having a Honda H down here, we got the Honda Motor Company. So to just change the looks of it. And the cool thing about buying these OEM ones, instead of buying the wrinkle red paint, the wrinkle red paint is always a lot brighter than these. These covers are actually really dark in person. And then the way they tape off and machine all the little aluminum bits, that's gonna look rad, guys. Can't wait to see that on there. It's gonna look sick. So yeah, it'll definitely look so much better than old Krusty here. So speaking of old Krusty, let's go ahead and pull this towel off that I got set in there just to keep stuff from getting down into a clean engine. So everything's nice and neat. So, like the stuff I didn't get to show you guys, brand new OEM cam gears are on. I did have an issue with the Type R cams that I didn't mention that would be going in this. They're not Type R cams. Don't know what the crap they're out of. They have Type R markings, supposedly. Yeah, I got them I talked to them, and basically after seeing they were way too long and the cams were like weren't even gonna sit anywhere close to where they're supposed to be, I said screw it. I put my stock B16 cams in. That's gonna give me plenty of valve clearance anyways. Keep it nice, reliable. Don't have to worry about you know, timing being off anything, so it'll work out for the best. But anyways, so yeah, timing belt's on and tensioned. Brand new OEM lower timing cover. I did make the mistake of starting on this thing without you know, timing it without putting this back cover on, which is a brand new cover. Maybe if I ever pull the timing belt again for something, then I'll make sure to put that cover on, which I don't have bolts for it anyways. Okay, so just got back from AutoZone. I did go to AutoZone and get the new valve wash tool. They didn't have the L-bent ones that went down small enough for what I needed to do, so that kind of sucks. I did have to get the straight ones and just very, very carefully bend them a little bit, I guess. It's kind of whack, but it'll work. And so I picked up several packs of these M8 by 1 1/4 locking nuts. Alright, so as you can see my old line, or this is the clutch line here, which is what I meant. I do have to use basically the same inserts for our old feed line to the turbo, but I have it routed so it comes off the S2000 clutch master cylinder, clips into this line where like normally the brake lines would run, I believe, but since I have the chase bays tucked kit, we don't need that clip, so it allows the clutch line to run under here. Goes underneath the radiator hose. As you can see, this little clip here holds a heater hose, but underneath it has the small one, which I can orientate sideways. Hard to do with one hand. Now that closes the clutch line from rubbing the bottom of the hose, and then it's chilling over here. So just for a tip on holding your clutch line really good, that works rather awesome, guys. So before starting my valve lash, I'm going to go ahead and grab the intake manifold, and I'd like to go ahead and put it on and just kind of see how close the clutch line is sitting to it, and also that way there's nothing getting inside our intake, so I can get that rag out of there and just don't take any chances for the next few days while we got stuff coming. And then it's going to look a lot more complete. Alright, so intake's finally on, bolted up, other than I gotta find a washer, because as you can tell, the way the stud, it stops a little bit short, the threads do, not really sure why. Everything else bolted up fine. Obviously I gotta run injector wiring, plugging the harness and stuff in. I hate this, that looks a little crappy, but I had to move my throttle cable bracket. I'm not sure why, but I mean, it's straighter and technically looks better here than what it did before, and it seems like it'll work fine. Just now I had this weird spot where I painted it with the bracket on, which I made sure to tape off this part so it would look purposely painted and everything. Just, it's also flipped around where I had the insides, now the outside. So yeah, probably gonna end up having to go back and do something with that eventually. I need to figure out something with the oil line here, making sure it stays off the manifold, making sure it stays pulled kind of tight. I may take and put a clamp here, or kind of want to pull it, put a clamp right there off this hoe or something. I'm not sure yet. I mean, it'll work. Something will. It's not touching the intake. I'm going to zip tie it to the bracket after the alternator's on, just to make sure it does stay down here off the intake. So super happy with that. The breather filter setup I did does clear the intake back there. So overall, pretty freaking happy with how it's looking. So getting closer and closer to the first startup. So see, sitting inside the car, it's kind of nice to be out from underneath the hood for now. But yeah, so for the first startup, we're going to need to be able to monitor things. I'm not running a factory O2 sensor anymore, so I'm going to need to hook up the wideband, which we had before. But before it was like kind of the gauge only, ran to the sensor so I could see it, but the ECU wouldn't see it and make changes based on it. So now we're going to have to hook that up. So first I'm going to detach the steering wheel and make room for our pod to go in here. And once there's room for the pod, I'm going to feed the wires up from over here. So we're going to be doing some work down here by the ECU. And then we'll get this thing in there. So the way I had it before, down the wires would come up through here. The wideband's on that side, and it'll work perfectly. When I run my boost gauge, it'll probably be sourced off the intake or something and ran from this side over here. Alright, so both wires, wow, I didn't realize how nasty this stuff. The steering column's still pretty dirty after getting the light shined on it. But so both wires for the wideband ran down. Zip tied the clump of extra wires. This is super long up here. My ground is running right there. And then as far as the power source, it taps into the cigarette lighter wiring there. And then our white wire, as you can see right here, there's a red wire running to it. Then runs down here, the ECU area, which is going to need to go to D14. See, A, B, and then D is here. Skips plug C because plug C is here. From here, we need to pull out D14 and snip it to where it leaves a little bit hanging out of the plug, and then enough for us to connect our red wire. So let me find D14 real quick so I can set this down, and then I'll cut it and I'll show you guys. So I don't know why, but I goofed, and this is my D14. It was a little longer. It was down to like here. I don't know what I was thinking, because on the old wiring I was like, man, I wish I would have put it tapped in closer to the plugs, that way it was less messy. And then for some reason, I don't know why I did that on this, and I didn't have room to connect it. Luckily I don't need the regular O2, so I ended up using the EOD, and got this heat shrinked and then taped. Yeah, we gotta do some zip tying and stuff to put the ECU in, but that basically wraps up the ECU wiring. Bundle of wires here will be hidden behind the console. Wideband wires hidden here. And then just gotta get the gauge in and plug it up. And that'll basically wrap up that. So that's where I'm at with the EM1. Stay tuned to the next video. I know this one's kind of random all over the place. Got a lot of stuff done. I'm just going to continue to put on some covers and stuff, get this pod in there, and then the next video will be like, which this is me from the future. Haven't started the car yet. Today's the day. But anyways, yeah, so the next video is going to be like oil, priming it, checking for leaks. I got a gas line I gotta make real quick, and throw a shift knob on this thing just because. Maybe move a lawnmower out, try to just start this thing and pull it outside, and just button up some little crap. And fingers crossed, guys. So stay tuned. This video is probably going to come out the exact same day, so if you're watching this today, be on the lookout for another video later, and it's going to be good.